my name is Jess. Welcome to Books Past Bedtime. Today I'm going to be doing another vlog in my Reading My Favorites Favorite Books series, and in this vlog I'm going to be reading my friend Hailey's favorite books. So Hailey is a big thriller reader, which is great because I've really been in a thriller mood lately and really want to pick up some good thrillers. I know she likes other books, but a lot of her other favorites I've already read, so this is going to be like a purely thriller vlog, and I think Hailey would be okay with that, so that's what we're gonna do. Hailey is one of my closest friends here on BookTube. She makes really great content, very creative stuff, really fun reading vlogs, so definitely check her out. All her links will be down below. She has one of my favorite channels on BookTube, and I just love her to death. She's a sweetheart. So in this vlog, I'm going to be reading 3 of Hailey's favorite thrillers, so let me just give you the rundown. The first book I'm going to be reading is Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. Hailey mentioned this one in her reading vlog where she read 5 thrillers in 5 days. She ended up giving this one 5 stars and says that it's one of her favorite thrillers of the year. Definitely adding this one to the list. This one follows our main character Claire, whose sister Julia went missing quite a few years ago, but then another girl ends up going missing in her town, and she really thinks her sister's disappearance is linked, so she starts kind of investigating and uncovers some really dark secrets. Hailey has said this one is pretty twisted and pretty intense. She doesn't recommend it to people who have like weak stomachs or don't like gore and that kind of thing, which honestly is me. But I really want to try this one. I have always been kind of drawn to Karin Slaughter's summaries of her books, and so I really want to try one, and I know she's one of Hailey's favorite thriller authors, so I want to give her a chance, and this one sounds really good, so I'm going to try it out. Then the next book I'm going to be reading is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I got this book from Hailey's mid-year book freakout tag, where she mentioned that this was one of her favorite thrillers of the year so far, one of her favorite books overall of the year so far, so I wanted to give this one a try as well. This is like a domestic style thriller about this couple, Grace, who is the wife, and Jack, who is the husband, and it sounds like Jack might be like really ultra controlling of Grace. She kind of doesn't exist outside of her relationship with him. It sounds kind of like dark and twisted, and I know Hailey likes these kind of domestic thrillers. They're not always the kind of thriller that I gravitate towards, but she just raves about this one and has made me so interested in it, so I'm excited to check this one out as well. And then finally, I'm going to pick up Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I got this from Hailey's video where she tier ranked all of her 5-star reads for the year, and she put this one in the absolute top tier, so I figured this is definitely one of her favorites. This is honestly one of the ones that I am most excited for. As you can see, I already owned it. It's already on my TBR, so it was definitely one that was already on my radar, but I really don't know a whole lot about this one. I know it is a like haunted house style thriller, which sounds super interesting to me. My mom actually just read this one and really loved it too, so with those recommendations, I think I am really gonna like this one, and I am so excited to dive in. So those are the 3 books I'm planning to read. Let's just dive right into this reading vlog. I have started my first book, and that is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This is a domestic thriller following Jack and Grace. To everybody on the outside, they really seem like the perfect couple, but behind closed doors, roll credits. It's kind of a different story. Their marriage is not as perfect as it seems, and there is something dark going on. It's best to go into this one pretty blind, I would say, so I'm just going to leave the synopsis at that, and you can proceed if it sounds interesting to you. Some of my thoughts might be a little spoilery if you want to go in pretty blind, so if you haven't read this, I would recommend skipping to the next book. But anyway, right now I am halfway through this book, and I'm really enjoying it. Honestly, a little bit more than I thought I would. I'm not the biggest domestic thriller reader. I have found that most of the domestic thrillers I've read haven't been my favorite. I'm more into crime-based thrillers, but honestly this has really gripped me like a crime-based thriller so far. I really like the pacing and the progression of the plot. Everything is kind of revealed little by little, and we flip-flop back and forth between past and present. I really think both of these things help with pacing, reveals, setting the stage, and truly understanding what kind of situation Grace is in without revealing everything at one time, keeping you guessing. And even right now we are still being kept in the dark about a lot of things. I honestly couldn't tell you what the next twist is going to be, and I love that. But so far everything has kind of made sense and is logical, so I also appreciate that. I don't like when things come out of left field and they don't make any kind of sense. I am really into that. I definitely am on the edge of my seat, like waiting to see what's going to be revealed next. And I am really rooting for Grace's character. Although some of the things she does are quite annoying and kind of stupid decisions, it sets her up to be the perfect character for this book because her like trusting and optimistic nature makes the decisions she makes make sense, and you can kind of see how she got herself herself into this situation, even though she really is becoming more intelligent and figuring out how to improve her situation and kind of get out of it. Jack, on the other hand, is the absolute worst. He is like textbook villain, evil to the bone. He really makes my skin crawl, which is like honestly all I could ask for in a domestic thriller is a good, strong villain, and he definitely is that. Oh my gosh. I really can't wait to see where this goes next. This definitely is feeling like a 4-star book to me right now, actually, so I will let you know if that changes, but that is where we are at right now. I finished Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris quite a few days ago at this point, I think. Whoops. I did end up really liking this book. It definitely kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, gave me all the anxiety. I did not know how it was going to turn out or what was going to happen, but the ending honestly did not disappoint. She got her freaking comeuppance against him, and it was honestly amazing. And then our little side character Esther, who kind of like I think thought something was going on weird with them, ended up really helping her out in the end, and I just loved seeing that girl power, that girl support. It was awesome. So I did really like this one, but I don't think I'm going to give it 5 stars. I am only going to give it 4 stars, and that is mostly because I don't think this was very memorable for me. So I am probably about 5-6 days away from finishing it, and I honestly don't remember much about it. I remember those couple things that I just told you, but overall I don't think it's really going to leave a really lasting impression on me. I do not remember the main character's name even. That's why I haven't said it in this clip. For me, that indicates that this is a 4-star book, and while I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend if you're into psychological thrillers, there wasn't necessarily anything I disliked about it. I genuinely really liked it, and if I had filmed this clip on the day that I finished it, I might have given it 5 stars, but because I'm a couple of days removed and I really am just forgetful of anything that happened in it, I just can't justify giving it 5 stars, so it is getting 4 stars from me. I did really like this one. It is indicating to me that Hailey has pretty good taste, especially when it comes to thrillers, because even though this was a domestic thriller, I really liked it, and I wouldn't have thought that going in. We are a fan. So far so good, and I will keep you updated. The next book I am reading is Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. Hello. So I am 50% of the way through my second book for this readathon, and that is Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. This book is insane. Oh my gosh. So basically this book is following 2 sisters, and these 2 sisters actually used to have a 3rd sister, but she was likely kidnapped and possibly murdered back when she was in college. So this has left both sisters with like a lot of trauma and things to work through. This book really kicks off when Claire, the younger sister, her husband actually gets murdered while they are in an alley outside of a bar, and this sets off a chain of events. On the day of the funeral, her house is actually broken into, so the cops show up. This leads her to finding out some tricky things about her husband. For one, she logs onto his computer and discovers these very graphic snuff porn films, and these films clearly depict these girls being brutally abused and murdered. And she is like, what the heck? My husband was the most vanilla person ever. Why does he have these movies on his computer? And as she starts to look closer at these movies, she is like, I am not sure these are movies. I kind of think these are real. And so she kind of dives into this mystery about why does her husband have these things on his computer? Did he just find them on the internet, or did he know more about them and is possibly a participant or maker of these films? And she starts uncovering all these different secrets about her husband, and she involves her older sister Lydia, who she has actually been estranged from for many years because Lydia accused Claire's husband of raping her 18 years ago, and Claire did not believe her. But now that she's learning more about her husband, she kind of starts to figure out that she was wrong to not believe Lydia all those years ago. And there is a lot more to this book. There are a lot of layers going on, and that's what's making it so intriguing. If I didn't say this already, I am really loving this book. I am honestly obsessed with it. It is so page-turning and so gripping. So as of now, it definitely is very sick and twisted, but not any more sick or twisted than like a true crime podcast or that kind of thing. I definitely would recommend this book so far if you like true crime podcasts, because that's the vibes that it's giving me, and I'm obsessed with this book. Like, I just think about it whenever I'm not reading it, and I just want to keep reading it like immediately. It is so good. And just how complex of a narrative Karin Slaughter has weaved so far is amazing. There are so many moving parts, but it all like makes sense together, and just it's really working for me as a book. I don't know if that means I'm sick and twisted as well, but honestly I don't care, because this book is so freaking good. I really am excited to see where the second half goes. So many people say that this is just really graphic, and I wouldn't describe it as that so far. So I'm kind of scared what's going to happen in the end. I'm not really somebody who is a fan of gore, so if that is what they mean by graphic, then that might kind of like gross me out as we go on. But if we're just talking like sick and twisted, I think I can handle that. So I really am excited to see where this goes. I really don't have any idea. I feel like there's still so much time left in the audiobook. This audiobook is hefty. It's like 20 hours, so I still have 10 hours left of the audiobook, so I feel like so much could happen. I literally have no idea where this is gonna go. We have already like uncovered so much shit about the husband and about what he's doing, and I stopped on like literally a cliffhanger, so I cannot wait to dive back in and see what is going on. Right now, this feels like a 5-star book to me. Like, as long as nothing stupid happens in the last half, like this is gonna be like a favorite of the year. I just am falling in love with thrillers, and this author is killing me. I'm going to have to read all the rest of her backlog, so hopefully my next clip is as positive, because I'm obsessed with this book and am so excited to finish it. I finished Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter, and let me tell you, this shit was a ride. Oh my gosh. I loved this book. I thought it was an amazingly done thriller. There were so many twists and turns. The characters were so layered. The plot just kept hitting you with new horrifying information that you were like, oh my god. And then the last couple chapters were so anxiety inducing that I was like driving, like clutching the wheel, like reacting out loud to what was going on in the story, because I was so invested and I was so freaked out about what was going to happen. And honestly, this thriller was just such an experience. I really felt like I was watching a true crime documentary about these sick and twisted people, these sick and twisted crimes that they were committing, and these real people that these crimes were affecting. I really felt all those emotions just like this was a real story. And to me, that means that this was a really successful and well done book. I felt so much for Claire and Lydia, and I was so invested in their story. I really wanted to see it out through the end, and I was pretty satisfied with how it ended. I just love when freaking horrible men get their comeuppance. Yes. This definitely is a sick and twisted, dark story about some really heinous crimes committed against women. It definitely has the potential to be triggering to some people, so I would just be cautious going into it. But if you are a fan of true crime and love listening to true crime podcasts and all that kind of thing, I definitely would recommend this book to you. It was a really well done, full story that just had the works from plot to characters to a terrible, like, villainous character, and it just like feels like something that could really happen in real life. And probably honestly has. It just made it all that more real and all that more terrifying to read about, which when I'm reading a thriller, I want to be scared and freaked out. So this really just did it for me. I really liked this book. I am going to actually give it 5 stars. So far, Hailey has a really good track record. The first book I rated 4 stars. This book has got 5 stars from me. So far, Hailey and my taste are aligning really well. I'm very excited to jump into Home Before Dark, and I am planning to do that over the next couple of days. So I will update you next when I am halfway through Home Before Dark. Hi. I don't have a 50% update for you because I've already finished Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and I did really enjoy this one. So just as a refresher, this is following our main character Maggie, and growing up, Maggie was always plagued by this book that her father had written about this haunted house that they grew up in. Maggie doesn't believe this house was actually haunted. She doesn't believe what her father said happened really happened. So when her father ends up dying, she learns that he still owns this house, so she decides to go back and try and figure out the truth. Y'all, I have never been scared by a book before in my life, but this book honestly kind of scared me. Like, I was downstairs in my basement doing laundry and I was like, is there a ghost down here? Like, am I okay? Somebody gonna attack me? This book would make such a good movie. Like, I could just see it being an amazing horror movie. So overall, I did really like this one. I am going to give it 4 stars. So I did have a couple complaints. Mainly, I thought like the first 75% of the book was kind of slow. We are switching perspectives between Maggie and her father throughout the whole thing, and I thought that back and forth kind of slowed down the pace for me and kind of made things feel a little bit repetitive, because oftentimes, like, Maggie would recreate what her father did or do similar things or talk to similar people that her father also did in his book. That got kind of repetitive for me, but I don't know if that's because I usually read books really quickly, and this book I read over a couple of days more than I would have, so I don't know if that was the reason, but I felt like the first part was a little bit slow. I also didn't absolutely love the twist. Like, I kind of wanted it to be not so easily explainable, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I just wasn't totally satisfied with the ending. I kind of wanted it to be something more surprising than that. And honestly, I didn't really understand why Maggie didn't remember any of this stuff. I kind of thought they were going to go somewhere with that, like they were going to unlock her memories or something, and they never really did. So I don't know. But overall, I did really like it. I really liked the haunted house elements, and Maggie's father's story definitely was kind of creepy. That's the part that like gave me the visuals to scare me in my basement last night. So I really did like those aspects, and I did really like all of the characters. I just wanted a little bit more from this one, but overall, I did really enjoy it. I'm going to give it 4 stars. So I think overall, this was my most successful taste test so far. I gave 2 books 4 stars and 1 book 5 stars, and so if I had to rank them, I definitely think that Behind Closed Doors is probably my least favorite, although I did really like it, but ultimately I think it's going to be a bit forgettable. Home Before Dark, I also gave 4 stars. I did really like that one, but at the same time, I thought it was a little bit slow in parts and then could have had a stronger ending. But then my absolute favorite was Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. I wouldn't change anything about this book. I thought it was literally amazing. I was on the edge of my seat for the entire 20-hour audiobook, which to me is just insane. Like, my attention span is not that long, so that the book kept me engaged so fully for that long was incredible. I absolutely loved this book and just want to consume everything that Karin Slaughter has ever written. Thank you so much, Hailey, for introducing me to this author. So overall, I think Hailey has amazing taste, especially in thrillers. I am very excited that I read all these books and that I loved all of these books. So Hailey, you definitely have a very good taste, and I will be taking all of your recommendations from now on. So everybody definitely go check out Hailey. She is the best. She is one of my favorite people on BookTube. She makes amazing videos and obviously has the best recommendations of anybody on the platform. That is what we have discovered with this experiment. So definitely go check her out. All of her links will be in the description down below. But thank you everyone for watching this video. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Let me know if you've read any of these books in the comments down below. I would love to know. And all other relevant links will be in the description. Definitely follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active other than YouTube. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you in the next one. Bye.